Okay, so this is going to be the pre-lab for our kilowatt lab, which is looking at the different amounts of energy used by different supplies inside of your house. So we're going to practice with some basic energy conversions. You need to be able to do this before we get to the lab, so that's why we're doing it this way. So first we're going to have our energy units. So the basic unit of energy is a joule. A calorie is the energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree Celsius. And a British thermal unit, also known as BTU, is the amount of heat needed to raise 1 pound of water at maximum density through 1 degree Fahrenheit. So we have 1,000 joules is 1 kilojoule, 1 calorie is 4.184 joules, 1 therm is 100,000 BTU, 1,000 calories is 1 kilocalorie, and 1 BTU is 1.05 kilojoules. In any conversions that you're going to be required to make on the assessment, we'll give you these, except you are going to need to be able to understand that kilo anything is 1,000 of the other. So 1,000 joules is 1 kilojoule and 1,000 calories is 1 kilocalorie. They're going to assume that you know that. So now we're going to begin with number 1. So it says, suppose a TV uses 200 joules of energy. How many BTUs is this? So we're starting in joules and ending in BTUs. So I'm going to put 200 joules. And in order to get from joules to BTUs, we have to first get to kilojoules because that's where we have right here. So we have 1,000 joules equals 1 kilojoule. And then we're going to have a 1 BTU is going to equal 1.05 kilojoules. So the horizontal line means that it's equal to. So 1 kilojoule equals 1,000 joules, 1 BTU equals 1.05 kilojoules. And we're setting it up in this fashion so that these can be canceled out, so that the final unit will be BTUs. So the way you're going to put this into your calculator is going to look similar to like 200 times 1 times 1 divided by 1,000 times 1.05. Okay, you need to make sure that you're putting enough parentheses in, or it will divide by the wrong thing and you'll get the incorrect answer. So when I put this into my calculator, I'm going to get 0.19 BTUs, and that is my final answer. All right, I'm going to change color just so it's easier to follow along. So next, we're going to go number 2. Sandy went to the gym and she burned 500 kilocalories of energy, and we're trying to get to joules. So we're going to start out with 500 kilocalories. And to get from kilocalories to joules, we have to go to calories. So a 1 kilocalorie is going to be 1,000 regular calories. Okay. And then we have 1 calorie is going to equal 4.184 joules. And then we're going to cancel out our units. Okay. So now I'm going to multiply 500 times 1,000 times 4.184 and get an answer. And then I'm going to divide that by 1 times 1, which is 1. So our final answer is going to look something like 2,092,000 joules. Or you can put it in scientific notation, and that will be 2.092 times 10 to the 6 joules. You need to make sure that you include the units in your setup and in your final answer to get all the points. All right, next we're going to be working with kilowatt hours. KWH is a kilowatt hour. This refers to the amount of energy in kilowatts consumed in 1 hour. This is actually a unit of of energy, not time, unit of energy. So 1 kilowatt hour equals 1 kilowatt times 1 hour, and that is equal to 3.6 times 10 to the 6 joules. So our example is, what is the energy consumed when using 2 kilowatts for 3 hours? So you just multiply the kilowatts by how many hours, and you get kilowatt hours. So number 3, what is the energy consumed when using 5 kilowatts for 2 hours? We just set it up 5 kilowatts times 2 hours, and we're going to equal 10 kilowatt hours as our final answer. Now we're going to add a step in there, and we're going to say, suppose the hairdryer uses 2,000 kilojoules of energy. How many kilowatt hours is this? So I'm going to start with my 2,000 kilojoules, and I need to get it to joules so I can get it to my kilowatt hours, because that's what the unit we have here. So how many joules are in a kilojoule? It's 1,000. And then I'm going to times that by 1 kilowatt hour equals 3.6 times 10 to the 6 joules. I'm going to cancel out my units. I'm going to multiply across, divided by what I've multiplied across the bottom, and I'm going to get 0.556 kilowatt hours is used by that hair dryer. I'm going to go ahead and erase everything on this side so I can go to the next. You can just fast forward this in the video because I don't know how to make it go any faster. All right, here we go. Page 2. I'll get better at these as we go, I promise. All right, so now we're going to assume our electric bill showed that we use 1,355 kilowatt hours over a 30-day period. We need to find the energy used in kilojoules for the 30-day period. So I had 1,355 kilowatt hours, and I have to get it to joules, or to kilojoules. So I have to go to joules first. So times to do 1 kilowatt hour, remember, is equal to 3.6 times 10 to the 6 joules per the page before this. And we got to get it to kilojoules. So 1,000 joules equals 1 kilojoule. So I'm going to cancel out. So kilojoules will be my final unit. I'm going to type that into the calculator, and I'm going to get 4,878,000 kilojoules, or I can put that in 4.878 times 10 to the 6 kilojoule. Either one of those is acceptable. Now we got to find out the energy used in kilojoules per day. So I've got my 4.878 times 10 to the 6 kilojoule, and that is per month. So I know that's my 30-day thing. 1 month is going to be the 30 days. And so when I multiply that across, I'm going to get 162,600 kilojoules per day. Now I'm trying to find out on C, at the rate of 0.0749 cents, per kilowatt hour, what will your electric bill be? So if I have 1,355 kilowatt hours for my month, I just multiply that by how much it is per kilowatt hour. And I'm going to get my bill is going to be 101.49. Now we're going to be using with power. Power is the rate at which energy is used. Our unit is watts. 1 watt equals 1 joule per second. So number 6, how much energy in kilojoules does a 75 watt light bulb use if turned on for 1 second? So I've got 75 watts and, so a watt is equal to 1 joule per 1 second. And I'm going to have 1 kilojoule equals 1,000 joules. And so I'm going to end up with 0.075 kilojoules. So now, how much energy in kilojoules does a 50-watt light bulb if used for 1 hour? So 1 hour is equal to 3,600 seconds. I need you to just keep up with that. So I'm going to have a 50-watt bulb, and I'm going to times it by the 1 joule per 1 second. I'm going to have 3,600 seconds, because that's the 1 hour. And then multiply that across, and I'm going to get 180 kilojoules. Number 8, an electric clothes dryer has a power rating of 4,000 watts. A family does 5 loads of laundry each week for 4 weeks. Assume each dryer load takes 1 hour. Find the energy used during the 4 weeks in joules and kilowatt hours. So we have 5 loads per week times 4 weeks. And so we're going to have 20 loads. That 20 loads is also equal to 20 hours per up here. Each load takes 1 hour. So now, I'm going to change my color. We're going to have 4,000 watts. That's color is hard to see. We're going to have 4,000 watts. 1 kilowatt equals 1,000 watts. So we're going to have 4 kilowatts times 20 hours. So we're going to have 80 kilowatt hours. So that's one of your answers. And then we've got to get it into joules as well, remember? So I'm going to take my 80 kilowatt hours. I'm going to multiply that by, remember, 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.6 times 10 to the 6 joules. I'm going to cancel out, and I'm going to get 2.88 times 10 to the 8th joules. Now, B, find the operating cost for 4 weeks. Assume the cost is right here. So we have 80 kilowatt hours. We have our cost, which is 0.0758 per kilowatt hour. Boom, boom. And I'm going to get $6.64. That's how much it costs to run that dryer.